cultural studies in The Guardian, Lewis, a fellow Schaffer here, who has made what seems to me to be a pretty blindingly obvious observation
oh my God,
about LOLO and Brexit.
Yeah, this was according to historian Gavin Schaffer.
No relation, as far as you know.
No relation. I mean, I don't even know if he's pronounced Gavin Schaffer, but I'm going to pronounce it that way.
Gavin Schaffer?
And when I actually read the article, according to the voice activation software, they pronounced it my name, Schaffer, which no one has ever really done. Anyway, I'm a Schaffer, Lewis Schaffer. You can Google me. I mean, Twitter. Twitter me.
Come on.
What are we here for again? Sorry about that, Simon. But it basically says that sitcoms reveal culture that contributed to Brexit votes, says historian. They're basically saying that these sitcoms perhaps influenced the Brexit thing, rather than the fact that these sitcoms were in an era which was different than this. And a lot of British people don't like Europe.
It's true, though, but those sitcoms, the ones they mentioned, LOLO and Dad's Army in particular, and 40 Towers, I thought that was a bit off-beam, but those first two, they were massive in the 60s and 70s. They were nostalgic, they were looking back to the war, maybe LOLO, maybe into the 90s. It was certainly all over by the turn of the century. And there was no suggestion we were going to have Brexit in 1994 when LOLO was at its height, or indeed Only Fools and Horses. So, I mean, it's tenuous, I think, don't you?
Oh, yeah, and Dad's Army was before the 1970s vote,
so
that goes the other way.
Yeah.
And they missed the point with Faulty Towers, the famous clip that they talk about in some of the articles, I didn't vote for it myself, but now we're in, I want to make the best of it. We're laughing at Basil in that. We're not, that's not taking the temperature of the nation.
He does swing back and forth. He is generally a figure that you realise is out of his depth, he's a little snob, desperately trying to social climb and so on. But on the other hand, he occasionally says things that and perhaps, you know, the waiter from Barcelona is...
in that episode, he's sustained a head injury by this stage.
Yes, that is true. Yes, you did. You invaded Poland.
But at the end of the day, what this article and what this guy is trying to look for is an explanation of why the people voted for Brexit, because he has such disrespect for people who voted for Brexit. He thinks they're insane. He can't imagine the people, I didn't vote for Brexit, I can't vote, period.
But there's always been, he is correct in saying there has always been a very particular attitude to Europe, even among people who are well, there was a kind of new breed of very pro-Europe, but we have always felt we don't hate Europe, but we are slightly adjacent to it. We're just slightly off to one side.
But even in Europe, they're slightly adjacent. The French are not in love with the Germans. The Germans aren't in love with the Italians. It's like they're all separate countries. Of course, Britain is not in love with Europe.
But most of the countries in the EU, I think, felt tethered to German economic might. In a way that Britain just didn't like it at all. No, anyway, we can't get into solving Brexit.